Hey Mark, shouldn't you be doing your Fallout video about now?
War never changes.
Hey folks, so today we are looking at Fallout, a new California board game expansion, just in time for Fallout 76 being released on all consoles and PCs. And yeah, I've paid attention to what you guys have been saying. Apparently the feedback from the last video I did, which was the Warhammer 40,000 Blackstone Fortress, you guys actually were quite happy with the way I rambled away and all the rest of it rather than scripting it. So let's have a look at this then. You're also quite lucky in that I actually know something about this game, so I actually will be able to fill in a few little bits and pieces because I have the base game and I've played it quite a few times. I really enjoy it. So let's have a looky-loo. So we start off and we've got the vault door on it on the front, always very nice. Vault 44 by the look of it. Nothing too much to say really, it's a vault door after all, so that's basically that. But let's have a look at the sides. We've got some little, so we've got some protectrons. We've got obviously the lone wanderer with dog meat, and yeah, that's it for the sides. And then on the bottom it says that it's ages 14 and up. It's 1 to 4 players with a 2 to 3 hour time limit, and that's about right actually. To be fair, actually I think that's a fair example of time based on the games that I've played previously. At least it's actually accurate for once, which is a rarity for board games, that has to be said. So let's have a look. So we've got obviously your game content, telling you all the things in it if you're actually mad keen to know, which if you're like me then yes you are. And then obviously an example of a game in play and some of the new characters, but we'll show you those in a second, so don't get too hung up trying to squint at the screen for that. A little bit of fluff on the back, and that's about it really. So let's crack this and get it open. So, have any of you guys been playing the new Fallout 76? If so, what are your thoughts? I like it. I'm a loner. I prefer to play on my own. I know, surprisingly, but I prefer to play on my own. But having said that, I have played a couple of times with my friends and with Tom and stuff, so I actually quite like it. I think it works really well. It's I like the difference that you get with not having to help the NPCs and stuff. You get a very interesting landscape to wander around where it's kind of eerily quiet except for things that you know are trying to kill you. Anyway, let's have a look at this then and get back to the actual thing we're doing here. So first of all, we've got, I suppose, an expansion pack's equivalent to a rulebook. So we've got obviously components here, some extra rules here, and then obviously some extra rules for the setup and whatnot. As you can see, it's only a couple of pages. Yeah, it looks quite interesting. Like, and it shouldn't be too complicated. Yeah, so based on my knowledge of playing the game, yeah, this seems fairly simple. New California, right? Let's put that there for a second. So we've got some new locations and some new monsters by the look of it, and these will probably be for the new characters. The special. I forget what they call them now. I know perks are the cards, but I forget what these tokens are called. But, oh right, okay. Let's open this. Let's get this open, and then we can show you in better detail. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So, what have we got? So we've got, these are going to be your double-sided ones I mentioned. Oh no, so these are easy territories that you can go through. And the monsters are, oh Jesus. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, nice My Alert Queen for you. Jesus. It's got 3 and a shield. Oh God, that's a lot to train. You got 3 dice. I mean, there are some things that add hits and stuff, so that's probably how you have to do it. But damn, that's a hard creature to try and kill. Rubber Brain. Oh, what looks like Rubber Brain? Find the camera mark. There we go. So yeah, and as suspected, there you go. You can see the little icons on the back for the different new characters. So that's fair enough. So we've got those locations. I'm not going to sit and punch them all out or anything for you. Well, I'll probably do that in a minute, to be fair. A couple of extra nuka caps and some more horrible gribbly things. So if I can actually zoom on the right thing, we've got a fire ant there, and then we've got one of those horrible bloody blood bugs. Oh, I hate those things. They are so nasty. Oh. So the best thing about this is obviously if you know the games and obviously you know these locations. Obviously, this is very much the settlement, and I can never pronounce it, but the settlement from the second game, and obviously you've got the New California Republic, which takes place after you save. I forget her name now. Cindy, Mindy, something. You save her from the first game anyway. She goes on to grow up and become a governor and stuff. So there you are. There's a bunch of Poseidon oil rig as well. Yeah. Oh, the cathedral, that's from the first game. I'm about the first game, not the third game, for all you whippersnappers out there. There you go, got Acolyte there. And then we've got, oh, good old superhuman behemoth. No, don't particularly want to deal with that, thank you very much. So, what else have we got then? So we've got your cards, some more cards, some miniatures, and some scenarios. So let's have a quick look. These are the ones that always make the game come to life because they're all nice and three-dimensional. So this is the Enclave Deserter, just like the Brotherhood Deserter from the first game. I have to say, considering there's a little miniatures that aren't like a tabletop standard, I have to say the detail on these is really good. I really like these. Now, as memory serves me from reading the articles, this is a trader. He obviously used to be in the vault based on his suit, but he is now a trader, so you can trade with the players and give you a few extra actions and stuff. Then we've got good old-fashioned Mr. Handy. For reasons unknown, this one's decided to take off into the wasteland of California and just go and have some adventures. He's kind of cool. He comes with 2 cards actually, which is an interesting twist because all of them normally come with only the 1 card, but he comes with 2. One which is his armor and stuff like the others get, and then one which is a behavior thing because he's a robot, so he can't obviously eat or drink or anything like that. So that's kind of interesting. Oh, we've got an NCR person. This is an NCR Ranger, I believe. So they're obviously equipped with combat armor and some kind of sniper rifle. Again, it's only a little model, it's not a miniature standard, but for tabletop that's really nice. I think it's really cool models. And last but not least, we have this bonny looking lass. She's a lone gunslinger apparently, armed with an alien pistol there. That is very cool. I love the pose on that one, and the detail is just really cool. The jacket's really groovy. One day when I'm not so damn busy and I can actually hold the model the right way around on the camera, I will actually try and paint some of these and get them up to a nice standard, because I think you've got all these lovely photographs and stuff, so these should really match, but I appreciate they can't really do that on a mass scale, so I would have to sit and do that myself someday. So what have we got here then? So one of these are scenarios, but what's going on here then? Because there seems to be quite a few in here. So we've got Rise of the Master, so this is going to be the first game. It's obviously Brotherhood of Steel and the use the Acolytes and stuff. Oh jeepers, that's it. Look at the size of that map. Like if you played the first game, then you know that the first game's normally only about this many, about 12-ish, so that's a lot of extra tiles. I wonder how that's going to affect the gameplay. I mean, they're still quoting a couple of hours to play, so... Oh, this one looks a bit different. This is the New California, so this will be Fallout 2, obviously with the Enclave being the main bad guys for that. Yeah, there you go. Poseidon oil field and all the rest, oil rig, sorry, and all the rest of it. So, yep, quite a nice large map again. Capital Wasteland. Hang on, we've already got these in the base game. Hang on, what's the pit? Far Harbour. So these 4 are already in the base game. So what's the deal with these? Oh, okay. So they've made the maps bigger using the components and the tiles that you get in this box. And this is new. I don't know what this symbol is. I have to look that up. But that's not in the base game. So whatever this is in reference to is obviously added in this game, in this expansion as well. Ah, that's kind of cool. So they've given you a way to kind of upgrade your base copy of the game with these new. Oh, look at that. Funky map. Yeah, with these new maps. Yeah, because I remember this one being kind of like this. This is the pit. So all this is all extra stuff added on. Interesting. Interesting. Ah. I'm intrigued by that now, actually. Right, this is the one that I'm going to struggle with because I can't really show you this because this is all of the vitally important quests and spoilers and the like. So I don't really want to show you these if I can help it because that will utterly ruin your game. So let's pull my hand away from the camera for a second and have a little looky-loo. So, right, so it would seem, if you know anything about the game, then you'll know that these are the ones that you start with in your settlement and wasteland decks. So they've obviously added a bunch more. Now that's really good because I've played quite a few games of the base version now, and I've got to a stage where I kind of know a lot of the cards that are in there. I know maybe not what the optimal outcome is, but what the best outcome for me to do at that time is because I've memorized the cards. So this will add a lot of variety. I think that's really good. So there's quite a few here as well. So yeah, that's really good, that. Put that like that. Put those to one side. So what else have we got then? Is this going to be... Yeah, this is going to be the rest of the cards. Yeah. So these I can't really show you, unfortunately, because these are all the cards that are the heart and soul of this game. They are all ones to do with the storylines, how you play through, the choices you make. Obviously some of these cards, as you can tell from the backs, these go, you shuffle them into the other decks. But yeah, I can't really tell you much about those, I'm afraid. All I will say is that whether you liked the base version of Fallout or not, everyone pretty much acknowledges that this stack of cards is genius, because this is the heart and soul in terms of it will provide you with stories. When you make choices and decisions, you will add and subtract cards from various decks, and that will play the story out for you. That will fill in all the blanks. So I'm sorry folks, but for the sake of those that want to know how this game works, I cannot show you any of those, I'm afraid. So I do apologise about that. But I can show you a few of these. I don't want to spoil, again, there's certain cards in here, and I know the ones to look out for. Right, so these ones I won't show you, because these ones are the rewards from those. So again, I'll leave that as a surprise for you. If you want to know, I'm fairly certain by now there's probably a wiki or something up that you can have a look at all of the cards. But let's just have a little look. So these are the new perk cards that you get, and as you can tell if you've played Fallout, they've got that distinctive green TRT, I think it's called, TRT monitor screens. So that classic kind of the pit boy doing the various things, and obviously all the different skills. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, again, I could go into more detail because obviously I play the game quite a bit, the base game anyway. I could probably give my thoughts and opinions, but that would make this video go on far longer than need be. So that's just a brief glance. And then obviously these are the very, very nice cards that go with your character. Zoom camera, there we go. Focus even. So yeah, there you go. So as I read on the internet, you got Caravan Merchant, Lone Gunslinger, Mr. Handy, NCR Ranger, and Enclave Deserter. So obviously they give you a variety of things. So the Enclave guy gets his suit of armor. The NCR guy gets a map, which I'm guessing is better than it sounds. The Mr. Handy robot gets his armor plate, and obviously it's hard to tell you how to play with him considering that he's so different to the others. The merchant gets Lady Buttercup. Aww. Aww. And then obviously the Lone Gunslinger gets a trusty alien blaster. And again, I'm not going to go into massive amounts of detail because otherwise I'll spoil so much for you. But obviously you get a big stack of cards. So this is for your loot deck, and this is obviously what you can buy from the merchants and so on and so forth. So I will obviously get some more junk, some purified water, some different mentats and stuff. That's kind of groovy. Stealth Boy, Nuka-Cola. I'm deliberately skipping certain things if I can catch it before you guys can see it, try not to ruin it for you. So, but yeah, you get an idea. There's a bunch of, as some of you eagle-eyed spotters might have noticed, there are some more companions and stuff in here. So again, won't show you, want to leave that as a surprise for you. The whole game for me is all about the story and the journey. It's very much, I heard in a review once that someone said about this game that it's all about the journey rather than the destination, and I completely agree. This game, I rarely play it thinking I have to win this. I have a lot of fun just wandering around with Debs, just wandering around the wasteland and seeing all these weird sights and having these mini adventures. So I don't want to spoil too many things for you. So I think I'll show you those ones because that's not really much of a spoiler. So you got things like a flamethrower and missile launcher, and then they've obviously introduced traps and grenades now, so that's something nice and interesting to look forward to trying. Some bobby pins and stuff, and 10mm pistol, hunting rifle. It's all good, all good. And oh, I'm definitely saving that one. That's a massively fun spoiler. So yeah, so there, that's it. I don't think there's anything else in the box. Nope, just this lovely FFG insert that we always get. So I am super excited about this. Like I say, I've got the base game and I've ordered myself a copy of this expansion. So I'm going to go play with that. I'm not going to play with this one. I'm going to play with my copy of the expansion that I need to go and sleeve it all up and stuff because I'm obsessive about sleeving my games. Yeah, and I'll come back to you and I'll give you my thoughts on how it went. Cool. See you in a bit, folks. Hey guys, we're back and we finished playing our version of New California Republic. So what did we think? What were our thoughts on it? How did it play? That kind of thing. Well, I mean, as I already said in the video, and probably was already evident, I really love the Fallout franchise. I know it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I know that it might not be the best game ever made, but I really enjoy it. It's one of those games where you can just sit down, bimble about, have some fun, tell some stories, and it's great. As I said in the video beforehand, it's more about the journey rather than the destination, and I think that's really true. I really enjoy that. It's good fun, it's very pretty to look at, and it's just a solid experience. So I really love it. So I might be slightly biased towards this one, so take whatever I say with a pinch of salt. With that in mind, I absolutely love this. I think this was really, really good. I really enjoy it. I suppose the best place to start is, what does it change? What does it add? What are we getting for our expansion money? So, first of all, we get loads of new stuff in this. We get new cards, we get new characters, we get new scenarios and new tile pieces and a bunch of other stuff. So I'll break down briefly what each one of them does. So the new character is pretty self-explanatory. You get a bunch of new characters so that add some variation to your game, and you can play as like the various guys that I told you about in the beginning, the trader and the enclave deserter and so on and so forth. So that's pretty self-evident. But what about the cards? Well, the thing with, if you've played a few games like I have of the base game, then the big thing that you'll have is that you'll learn which cards are really good in which decks. So if you're going to the shops, to the markets to buy weapons and armor, you'll know that you'll look for, say, the combat armor, or you'll look for the plasma rifle, or so on and so forth. So in this one, you get a bunch more cards that are all weapons and armor, as well as some other handy things that are really desperately needed, like purified water. You also get a bunch more loot cards, so again, this will add more variance to your deck, so you'll get far more things that are far more enjoyable and more interesting than the ones that you've kind of got bored of and kind of stale of. Not saying that they're bad, but a bit of variance is always nice, and this adds a ton more variance, which is great. The scenarios, they are really interesting. So what they've done is they've given you a couple of scenarios that are brand new to this box, and then they've reprinted the ones that come in the original box with the tweaks of extra tiles added to them. And also the little symbol that I got a bit confused over in the unboxing video is a random symbol. So basically in this version there's multiple cards that have the same number, but you will choose one of them at random and put that into play, or that into your deck. And that means that you might play the same mission but get completely different outcomes, other cards coming out of the decks. So it just really brings the whole thing to life in terms of giving it more variance, more replayability. It's a very clever touch without having to do too much more work to get there. So I appreciate what FFG have done in that regard. So it also adds some tiny rules. Again, I've already mentioned the rule for the cards that have the little diamond on them, which are the random cards. But there's also a couple of other rules as well. So you've got creatures that can now move twice as fast, so they can quickly track you across the distance. You've got creatures that when you kill them, in addition to all of our other rewards, you get caps from them as well. And a few other little bits as well. The new creatures, as I showed you in the video, like the Mile Queen and the Behemoth and stuff, they are terrifying. If you do not have the equipment to deal with them, you cannot beat them, which is kind of appropriate. Trying to take on a Mile Queen in, say, Far Harbor, which I think was the expansion it came out in, trying to take on one of those, I know it's Fallout 4, I do apologise. Trying to take on one of those without having the adequate weapon, you just get your face melted off, she just spits goo on you and you die. So it makes sense that there's something like that in game, and it provides a decent challenge as well. So I like them, I think they're an interesting tweak. And you can run away from them, there's always that option. Fallout does provide you with plenty of map to run around to get the hell away from them. There are also some phenomenal inclusions, and these are where I think this expansion truly shines. The New California scenario is the best thing in this box, far and away. It's got a massive map and a lot of variants and a lot of quests that go on at any one time, which could get quite overwhelming, but you'll understand why in a minute. You get group XP is a new concept, so because New California is the scenario that you play through together, so you're all on the same team compared to the other ones, it introduces new concepts like group XP, and they change the way the factions work. So rather than either of you vying for it, you're both working for the same faction, and the main faction is far more aggressive. They punch their token down the track far quicker, and you have to actively try and either pull it back or take them out to stop them from pushing it. It is phenomenal. It is really good, and it allowed us to use rules that we've never even used before. There's rules included in the base game, like trading, but because obviously you're now on the same team, that suddenly becomes viable. It suddenly becomes a reason, something you want to do. Debs was playing as the Mr. Handy, and I was playing as the Enclave Specialist. So when she was finding boiled water and things like that, she couldn't use them because she's a robot, and I was finding junk, and whilst I could use it, it would make more sense to give it to Debs, because he basically bolts it onto himself to give himself more armor, and he can strip it off to give himself some health. That makes no sense. I don't understand how that works. Maybe he's using it to repair damage on his armor. That probably is a reasonable analogy for it. But the point is that we could trade, and there was a reason for us to trade because we were on the same team. We weren't trying to keep either of us down. So that scenario is amazing, and it's phenomenal, and it's a very clever idea, and this game shines when you play as that. I think it's brilliant. The variance that's included is because there is only the one scenario, which is that one which allows you to use those rules, so they put lots and lots of variance in. So you'll play one time, you might push the main campaign and then win, and then play another time and have various other ones that will give you agenda cards which you can use to push the agenda that way. Again, makes more sense when you read the rules, but a very simple and very clever way of doing it. But that does lead on to my biggest weakness of this expansion. That scenario. The scenario is so good and it is so enjoyable, and I adore it. But it does shine a light on the other ones. They've included in the box 4 more expansions, which will allow you to replay the original scenarios that came in the box, the base game of it, and play using the new rules and the new additional pieces and so on, and all the additional tiles and everything else that goes with it. And that's great, and that's a really nice touch, and I'm glad that they did that. But looking at it, all I can think is, why didn't you make it so that we could use the New California rules with those sets? So you've got one set of cards that you can play through as cooperative, and one set of cards, or scenarios, I should the right word, one set of scenarios that you can play through as competitive. I think those options this would have made this an absolutely must buy. I still think it is, spoilers, I still think it is a really good expansion and worth of your money, but having that little tweak would have made all the difference. Me and Debs tend to play, we've got our own house rule in that we tend to start with the same faction when we're choosing our agenda cards, so that allows us to play on the same side and allows us to bring in some of the trading rules. But the fact that we've had to house rule that to make that, I understand some people are absolutely against house ruling. I understand if that you feel that way, but that's how we've kind of tried to make it a little bit more like New California. But otherwise than that, it's a shame, because the New California expansion, or the scenario, is about as close to Fallout 76 in board game format that you can possibly get, and it's phenomenal. It's really good fun. All the things they tout about in the video game, the playing together, the wandering around with your friends, you do that in this, and it's fun. It's really enjoyable. I was playing and I was getting my ass handed to me. I might have to censor that. And yeah, Debs came to my rescue. She came flying over as Mr. Handy, and she just chopped up everything and saved my bacon. And that is something that's really funny. It's a memorable moment. It's one that I remember for a long time. That is the kind of thing that you want in a board game, and especially in a cooperative one. And adding those rules in makes you look back at the other rules and say, well, why couldn't this be that? Having said that, the expansion is really good. I enjoy it. I've bought it. I have my own copy. That's why I've not punched out anything to do with this one. And the footage that I'll overlay over this, you'll see that they're all sleeves. I will plan to play it for a lot longer. I do really enjoy it. I think this is certainly worth the money that's being asked. It adds an awful lot to the game, the base game, and it gives you a whole new way to play. And generally speaking, that's what you want from an expansion. Expansions are designed to expand the lifespan of your games, and this certainly does that. The characters are interesting and funny and nicely designed. The characters are beautifully designed. The story is the funny bit. The cards, there's some of the cards in there that Debs was just laughing her backside off, because they're so silly and they're so funny. And if you've played any of them before, any of the PC games or anything like that, you'll recognise so many of them, and it'll bring a smile to your face. And that's what board games are all about. So yeah, so I think that's kind of my review, for lack of a better phrase. My first impressions is this is definitely worth your money. It's a great purchase. It's very fun. And yeah, so I will leave that with you. Hopefully you've all enjoyed the video. Please, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share and subscribe. And if you ring that notification bell, then that'll help keep you up to date with all of our future videos. If you'd like to be the lucky person that wins this copy of the expansion, then all you have to do is like and share the video, the original Facebook post that we'll put up on Facebook. Share that so we can keep track of who's sharing it, and then I'll do a raffle next Thursday, I think it is, remember. So yeah, Thursday about midnight-ish. I'll put the full details at the end of the video anyway. But yes, I will do that, and then I will let you all go know next week who's won it. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. All good stuff. So the only thing you've really got to worry about is the fact that you've now got an expansion with a board game, and that means getting it all packed away is always a bit of a pain in the backside. And surely, if anything, that's the war that never changes. But anyway, until next time folks, thanks for watching.